get up out of my desk, get in my car, and drive around the building to calm down. Like I was like severe panic attack, and I kept hitting the sell button while I was driving, and I finally was able to sell that stock, and I lost 20 grand, man, like within literally probably an hour. And that was the most detrimental thing that's probably, in terms of financially, it's ever happened to me at that point in my life. And it was depressing. Like I was really upset for quite a while about that. But now, fast forward, I look at that situation, and that was the best lesson I could have ever learned when it comes to investing.
As an operator, I know other investors are romanticizing multifamily investing, and I'm looking to learn from other investors' mistakes. I know you are too, and you found the right place. Welcome to Myers Methods Presents Multifamily Missteps. Hey everybody, welcome to Multifamily Missteps. I'm your host Jerome, and I've got the pleasure of having Justin Britto in with me today. Justin, how are things out in AZ?
Hey, Jerome. Just want to say thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's always an honor to come on a podcast. So thank you very much. And AZ is sunny and it's getting hot. It's reaching 100 degrees. So not only is the weather hot, but the multifamily market's been pretty sizzling over the last couple of years. So
Now, tell me about that, right? I don't. Are you in Phoenix, Tucson? What part of Arizona are you in?
I was born and raised in Phoenix, so Central Phoenix. I live pretty close to like the business district, downtown Phoenix. I'm right in the middle of everything. So
Got it. And so the market's hot there. I mean, I feel like you could just go buy something for 40,000 a door. That's not true.
yeah, like if we went back about I'd say 10 years, yeah, absolutely. But what's interesting is stuff that was trading for 40 or 50,000 a door back in 2011, 2012 is now trading for 300 a door, 350 a door. So I would say in the last year, the market has really appreciated like a ton. Like kind of when we had that slowdown from COVID, the economy shut down, and then once it like started opening back up, we opened up pretty quick, faster I think than most like the rest of the country. So our businesses got back to business as usual pretty quick, and our economy in Phoenix has been growing rapidly. We have huge net in migration, people coming from California, Seattle, basically the blue states coming over to Phoenix, where we're, I don't know, we used to be really red, now we're just probably a lighter red. But the business, we have a very business friendly environment here with our governor Doug Ducey. He's done an amazing job in helping rebuild the economy and really diversifying the economy, so we're getting more high paying jobs. But anyway, the economy opened up pretty quick, and the multifamily market it took off, man. Like it's like right when COVID hit, probably in mid 2020, stuff was trading for 200 a door, like 1960s product, renovated. And fast forward to today, and that same stuff is selling for 300 a door, upwards of, I've seen 1960s product in really good class A areas selling for 350 a door. So on a cap rate basis, that would be anywhere from, on stabilized cap rate, for a 4 cap to like maybe a 4.5.
Whoa.
The fundamentals are still there for investors buying, because like we've had a lot of rent growth in that same period too. We've had some of the strongest rent growth in the US a couple of years. So the rent growth has been there to support the fundamentals. So it still makes sense for, people that are looking at to buying a stabilized renovated asset in a good location to, to pay those prices.
So, do you buy Phoenix?
I buy Phoenix.
Yeah.
I don't pay those prices. No, I'm the guy that sells at those prices. Um, for me personally, I mitigating risk is the top number one thing for us. Making investors money obviously is up there with it, but mitigating risk and getting in at a low cost basis, because I make money on the buy, not the sell. So if I'm basis and you say my business plan is to fix it up and sell this property within the next year or two, and the market cools and I can't, the liquidity, dries up a little bit and I can't get that price, I'm still buying at a low enough basis that I can refinance the deal and still meet my cash on cash return objectives that I need and then that I told my investors that we can achieve. So when yeah, I'm definitely very bullish on Phoenix. I love the market. The city's transformed a lot over the last 10 years and we have a lot of good things going on. So
Okay. And so, how have you been able to find deals that weren't trading at crazy numbers?
relationships. So it's all driven, as you know, I'm sure a lot of your listeners know, it's all relationship driven. So my business plan, like when I first got into the business, I started working at Marcus and Millichap, which is like one of the largest brokerage firms in the country. And early on, I started to develop relationships with brokers, several years ago, and just, befriending them, staying in contact with them, because I knew that I would need those relationships in order to build the portfolio. So once I was ready to start buying properties, um, beared fruit because now everything that I have purchased has been off market over the last 2 years, except maybe I think one deal was on market that I bought out of the last probably 10 or 15. But I get them all off market, and the brokers know my business plan and like the returns I'm looking for, the pricing I want to pay. So when they come across a deal like that, they'll call me, right away. And what's good with us is I come from an institutional background. So I'm able to bring like an institutional approach to the private capital market and move quickly. Institutions move really slow. They take forever to work through a PSA. It takes them a month, 2 months to get through a purchase and sale contract. It takes them, several weeks to figure out if they're going to write an offer on a building. They got to go to investment committee and get it approved, all that. Or with me and my partners, we can get a deal brought to us and let the broker know instantly if we'll buy it, or we can underwrite it and do a little bit of research and see if it's a good deal and let them know same day. So it's the ability to move quickly and adapt is what helps us a lot.
Perfect. Perfect. So, you've been able to grab some deals, and I guess you're a net seller at this point, at least for that market. So,
Kind of. We
imagine.
let me back up real quick. We just closed on 3 deals. We closed on one yesterday, and then we have another one
Congrats.
under contract that we're going to close on Friday. But we're going to pull the brakes for a little bit, work on those deals, sell some that we are completing, the renovation project we plan on. So
Outstanding. Congrats, man. We
yeah,
got it. We got it here first. I don't think any other podcast had the opportunity to grab that fresh off the presses that you guys just closed. So outstanding.
appreciate it.
So, have all of your deals gone exactly as you planned?
No, absolutely not. Um,
What do you mean? Everybody makes money every time, and every deal goes exactly to the business plan.
those guys, they're probably in private jets and making a lot of money because that's I mean, I can't, like, I haven't lost money on a deal, knock on wood. um Again, we analyze a deal, we have our own property management company, we just started our own general contracting company, I think similar to you. It looks like on your website you have a lot of in-house stuff. but we're vertically integrated now, so we're able to control a lot of costs. But when I first got started, I didn't have my platform built out. On the very first deal I bought, I raised capital for like 13 units on this deal. We acquired it. We had to use third-party management because we didn't have a management company at the time. And when you have these boutique properties, finding a third-party manager that does a good job is very hard. It's very hard. But anyway, so we had them take over. We started the renovation project. We spent probably, I think we were spending about 30K a door on renovations. So we go in there and basically strip everything out, add washer and dryers and units. So meaning they got to cut through the concrete and do the plumbing for the washer dryer. We, do brand new cabinets, quartz countertops, new backsplash, stainless steel appliances, wood flooring, all that. So we got through about 4 units, and then we were working on 4 more units. And so this property manager also had a general contracting business. And so they were doing the work for us. And like halfway through doing the second set of 4 units, either someone turned them in or like the city inspector saw they were doing work. And he ended up inspecting the units, and this contractor didn't pull permits to do like the underground plumbing, breaking into the ground and doing the plumbing. And what's interesting is their contract said, we're going to pull permits, and we signed a contract saying they would do that, and apparently they didn't. And so those units, man, they got shut down by the city for 8 months. We had 4 units. So we were losing, probably at least $6,000 a month in rent from those units. And it shouldn't have taken 8 months to get them back on, to get them, to get the, permits in place. I don't know what was going on with this contractor, but they were just dropping the ball right and left. I was kind of put in a corner because I didn't know any other contractors that come in and take over either, because it was my first deal. So I kept, hounding them and staying on top of them. And they eventually, got the deal, got the units permitted and green tagged, by the city. But the challenging part there was like, this was my first deal, the first time I raised capital with all these new investors. At that point, I had a pretty good business plan, but most of, for the most part, they're investing in me and trusting me that I'm going to do a good job, because I don't have track record to prove I've done this before. Here's what I've done, and here's the returns I've made for investors. And so it was stressful, but the important thing in the situation for me like that is just being transparent with the investors and just letting them know along the way, hey, this is what's going on. We're doing our best, and just being completely honest and transparent. And they were all super okay with everything. They weren't giving me a hard time, and they understood. And so we got that project done. Fast forward 2 years later, took us a total of 2 years, and we ended up selling it, and they, more than doubled their money on that project. So it turned out to be okay.
Sounds like it. We fought through to the end. What did you change about the way you run your business so that you don't ever have to worry about that happening again?
Permits is a good start, but finding contractors that I can trust, because that's having that external team, as like, is important, whether it's third-party management, whether it's a general contracting company. That's very important to the whole process, and not having that right team in place creates a lot of risk, uncontrollable risk that's out of my hands. So I was able to find an awesome third-party general contractor. I started my own property management company, so I have more control over costs. We're able to streamline expenses and create more efficiencies. We're able to drive, get really granular with the line items, whether it's expenses or other income, and see where we can drive value. So that's another way we are able to control the risk. And then we started the in-house general contracting company, which that's the property management company. I have an awesome person running that. The general contracting company, I don't want to be a general contractor. I don't want to have to order materials. I don't want to have to be involved in the day-to-day operations of running a construction company. That's not my skill set. Finding somebody to run that the way that I think is best based on their feedback and, based on the efficiency of it has been a challenge. So I've been heavily involved in the decision making and ordering the materials. It's been stressful. Honestly, it's been stressful because it's not what I want to do.
It's so much fun.
It's not, but here's the thing though, like this is like, I know like starting a business, you got to put in the work up front, whatever it is. Like I put in a lot of work to start the investment company, years and years. I laid the groundwork, and then the foundation was mostly laid when I was able to buy my first deal. So starting a general contracting company, it's going to take a lot of work. And, I grew up in a blue collar family. I did construction for about a day and decided I'm going to go to college. I don't ever want to do construction again in my life. So I went to college and, got into real estate, but I understand how it works, how the industry works. I understand, pricing, understand costs, understand how long it should take to do things. And so when these objectives aren't met by somebody I hire, it's very frustrating. But I think we got to work out the kinks up front and see. It'll take some time to see how it's going to work out. I can't expect it to be perfect on day one. But we're able to save on our third party, general contractors, we pay him about 25 or 26,000 for like a full unit renovation. With our own in-house GC company, we get that down to 20 grand. So we're saving a lot of money, per 5 or 6 grand per unit. Let's multiply that by 20 units or 40 units. That's a lot of money that we're saving. That's why we have to make it work.
The knowledge, deal flow, experience, and capital to be successful. They often try to overcome these challenges out of order, slowing or eliminating their ability to get the next deal done. We have developed a framework that allows them to gain the knowledge they need to find profitable deals. When they use our system, they create time and location freedom, as well as the generational wealth they desire for their family. The Multifamily Kickstart program has proven to be the fastest way to establish credibility and build a profitable apartment portfolio. Hop over to jeromemyers.co to find out more information.
So, is that the only misstep deal you have for us from a story standpoint, or is there another war story you're willing to share with the listeners?
I want to my favorite story and most embarrassing story to share, and I always own up to my mistakes and I learn from them. Everybody makes mistakes, I know that, and it's owning them and learning from them and figuring out how to do things different. That's how I gain wisdom, right? That's where wisdom comes from, is through experience. So my first misstep, this isn't necessarily involved in real estate investing per se, but it's investing in general. So my background is I graduated college, got a degree in real estate finance, got a job in Marcus & Millichap. So I was there for about 12 years. I started in the research department, writing research reports for all the brokers across the US. And then I was able to transfer into the brokerage side and become an analyst for one of the top brokers in the entire company. We were selling, billions of dollars of real estate a year, dealing with the largest institutions in the world, pension funds, people like Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, that was our clientele. So it put me in a really, really good situation to see how these guys operate, right? How do they buy real estate? How do they analyze it? What questions do they ask about the operating statements? about the rent roll, about the, capital markets, about the IRR, what kind of IRRs are they looking for? So I got such in-depth knowledge, being on this team. And I started in 2012 on this team. And I think in 2013, I got my first bonus check, man. Like it was 30 grand. It was a lot to me back then. And it's still a lot of me, but it was like, just one payment, 30 G's, because we had a pretty good year. And I was like so excited. And I never received a check that big before. And so it was like, instantly my mind's like, how do I turn this into 100 grand really quick? I want to, what can I put this in? And I've always wanted to invest in multifamily. It's always been my, go-to. But I didn't have the confidence back then to do it. And I was still just learning the industry, like how to underwrite, how to analyze deals, how to look at the market. So I wasn't super confident in my abilities yet. There's too much fear. I let fear control me back then. So I met a guy and he's like, oh, I'm doing day trading, and he told me about like day trading of like penny stocks. And back, like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they were a public company. And then the 2008 disaster, they became a private company. And their stock went from, when they were public, they were trading at like 50 or $60 a share. And when they became private, they started basically trading, for pennies. And then by the time I was looking at day trading, they were trading at like $2 or $3 a share, right? So I started investing in like Freddie Mac. I think it was like $2.50 a share. And like, this is the stock, it goes up, rapidly, up and down like this all day, like swings, big swings, like kind of like crypto. So I think I put in like a couple grand the first time and I made, a couple $100 in like an hour. I did that a few times. I made, a little bit of money, and then I got really confident and I'm like, I'm just going to put the whole 30 grand, everything I have in my bank account in Freddie Mac. And I was at my job, at my desk, day trading, and it's obsessive, man. Like you're like, it's like gambling. Like you're watching, I was like not working on my day job and obsessing about like these day trades. And so I took the 30 grand, I put it all on Freddie Mac while I was working at my desk. And I was so nervous, man. And the stock, like it went from like 250 and then it shot up, I don't know, maybe like to like 275 or $3. I'm like, within a couple minutes, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good start, man. And within 5 or 10 minutes, like the stock started dropping rapidly. It went down to like, to my purchase of where I bought it at 250, then it went to like 225, then $2. And like, I'm watching this and I'm starting to see red, like I'm about to pass out. I'm having a panic attack because I'm losing thousands of dollars, like all the money I have. And my boss is like talking to me and I'm like, I couldn't respond to him because I was just freaking out. At that point, I was starting to hit the sell button, to sell the stock as fast as I could. And the sale wouldn't go through. And so at this point, I thought the company was going bankrupt. I'm like, I'm going to lose everything. And I had to get up out of my desk, get in my car and drive around the building to calm down. Like I was like severe panic attack. And I kept hitting the sell button while I was driving. And I finally was able to sell that stock. And I lost 20 grand, man, like within literally probably an hour. And that was the most detrimental thing that's probably, in terms of financially, it's ever happened to me at that point in my life. And it was depressing, like I was really upset for quite a while about that. But now, fast forward, I look at that situation and that was the best lesson I could have ever learned when it comes to investing, like by far the best lesson, because that taught me, number one, like I can't get rich quick, man. Like maybe some people they can invest in crypto. They made millions of dollars. Good for them. That's not my path. And I'm fine with that. For me, it's all about mitigating risk, investing in what I know, like Warren Buffett says, invest in what you know. And, it's not even the getting rich or getting wealthy or whatever. That's the best part, man. It's the journey up to wherever your goal is, or whatever you want to achieve. It's that journey of getting to that point is the best part. Like every autobiography I've read of every entrepreneur, they've all said the same thing. These are billionaires, right? Like we're like, yeah, making the billions is great, but like the coolest part was like the journey and the relationships that I established along the way, the mistakes I made, but learning from those mistakes and overcoming them and building confidence and self-worth and all these things you build along the way. That is by far the most fulfilling part if you're an entrepreneur, according to them. And for me personally, it's just, I feel the same way. So, like just mitigating risk is by far the biggest lesson in understanding my product type. So I do underwriting. I've been underwriting deals at an institutional level for 10 years. I know every line item. I know, where a property should be operating, where should they be operating over the next 10 years. Well, I can't say for sure over the next 10 years, but like over the next year or two, I'm pretty confident in my assumptions. Beyond that, it's a little bit tricky, but I have the historical data to look at to kind of map out that 10 years. So understanding all that and just having, a good team in place, and that is how I mitigate that risk and allow that to never happen again.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I I feel like you already gave it to us, but the question that I always wrap up with is, what words of wisdom do you have for the listeners?
Just share one last story real quick, and
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
this will wrap up, kind of like to your point. So I'll be quick. In 2015, I finally bought my first fourplex. I did owner financing, put it down 5% on that deal. Lived in one of the what to do, but you always figured it out along the way. That goes for anything I do, like raising capital. I don't know what to do, but I figure it out along the way. Um, so I bought that deal in 2015, and then I had a best friend. I have a best friend who was in single family, and he was successful back in 2015. He was buying houses in 2012 in Phoenix, and he was doing really well. And he was sending out mailers to property owners, like single family owners, sending them mail saying, "Hey, do you want to sell your home?" Blah blah blah. So he had a really good platform laid out, and he was finding a lot of houses that way. And I'm like, let's partner up. Let's do multifamily, man. You already have the platform. We can send out mailers to multifamily owners, and I have the knowledge and skill set to underwrite them and figure out what we can pay, and let's do it. And so he agreed. And and then a week went by. This was like, it took me 2 years to get to 2017 to approach him, right? So 2 years went by when I didn't buy anything, unfortunately. But yeah, this was 2017, and a week went by, nothing happened. And then I sent him an email. I'm like, "Hey, you're going to send out the mailers?" And he's like, "I need to talk to you. Let's have dinner." And so we had dinner, and sat down. I knew something was not was something bad was he was going to say something bad, or obviously let me down essentially. And he's like, "You know what, man? I'm already sending out mailers to single family property owners. All I have to do is add in multifamily. I already have the money to send them out. So like, what value do you bring to the equation? Uh, like, why do I need you?" And so, which was like that was another detrimental experience for me at the time, because I thought I needed him as a partner in order to be successful in my in investing in multifamily. And I left that meeting, and I was a victim, and said, "Why me? Why is this happening?" for about a week. And then I went, took some training courses on how to hire a cold caller in the Philippines. And within a couple weeks, I had like a platform of a cold caller calling multifamily property owners, and had some stuff actually put in the action to make something happen. And within within a week of this cold caller calling, he found me my first property. And so when I look back at that, like that was like the greatest thing my friend could have done for me, telling me he didn't need me because, in reality, like we didn't need each other. I could have done this on my own. I just didn't have the confidence at the time to do it. But, once I started putting in the work and started figuring it out, again, through experience and being successful and finding that first deal, I started to develop confidence. So for me, it's like, don't wait. Like, you don't need to have the perfect team in place. You don't need to have the perfect partner in place to get started. It's just, put in the action, put the footwork in, and do your due diligence research. And, you'll figure stuff out along the way. And I was able to finally quit my job after 12 years. I was there. I quit my job about a month ago. And so now I'm able to do this full time. I wish I would have, again, I waited too long to quit my job, but it's okay. I should have done it 3 years ago, but, just have confidence in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody leaves when their time is right. They have the confidence, and the goal is never to go back once you leave.
Yes.
So if you leave prematurely, then you can put yourself in a situation where you run out of capital, you run out of what I call runway before you get to the place where you build a little bit more. So I think it's a great lesson, and I think it shows that you're conservative in your approach, right? Some people are a little bit wilder, like me. I just walked out, right? I didn't have any deals under contract. I didn't have any assets under management, and it's a different experience. And if you're not set up for it, if you don't have the intestinal fortitude for that, you're going to turn around and go back in, because about the second time that paycheck does not hit the account, you start asking, what have I done? So Justin, I appreciate your vulnerability, man, and I look forward to watching your journey as you continue to grow and have more success.
Bro, I really appreciate your time and inviting me onto the podcast.
Sure. And to the listeners, the pack's with you. We'll talk soon.
You made it to this juncture, so you really love what we shared on this episode of Myers Methods Presents Multifamily Missteps. Do us a favor, give us a 5-star rating, give us a review, and share this with somebody who's interested in multifamily investing. Until the next time, the pack is with you.